away from Paris or something.
There's one, isn't it Hahn? Isn't it Hahn, mate? You go to... or Brussels, and you land in. I think you land in Holland. I think.
Yeah. Well, I've just done a little check on EasyJet, and if you want to go to Barcelona for a couple of days, flying out today, £104 return, which I think is, and that's coming back on the 28th. I'm just giving a few days out there. I think that's incredibly good value for money, really, considering £50 each way to Spain and back.
It's crazy, and maybe this can be the final comment, Mike. On cheapness, I used to play a wee bit of golf some years ago. Okay, and me and two mates. We managed to go up to Birmingham. Flybe was doing really cheap flights. We went up to Edinburgh. We got picked up by a golf taxi. We played 2 rounds of golf. We had a couple of beers and meals to see us through. And we got back again. Less than 120 quid for the whole day.
They have turboprops. Flybe,
absolutely amazing.
Turboprop aircraft.
Yeah. It is absolutely amazing.
A note from Lynn. Morning, boys. Thanks for the shout out. I take my responsibilities of monitoring the group very seriously. I try to keep us safe in the group by refusing the weirdos. Yeah, and there's a good many of them too. We need a safe place to play and moan. Quite right, Lynn. Good morning, my dear. Hope you're well.
Lynn, I've got 3 weirdos sitting around me at the moment.
Well, at least we don't wear tutus.
So there we go. Well, you just leave my tutu alone. I'll tell you. Putting off the list. When you mention the tutus, the audience doesn't go up; it goes down.
Is that right?
Yes.
What tutu?
The only thing that goes down, but it's the weather. Talking about that, actually, there's any research about sex grabs your attention. Apparently,
well, it does yours.
And this week's the National Survey of Sexual Attitudes and Lifestyles says that women are more likely than men to lose interest in sex after a year. But what on earth does that mean? Do they lose interest in sex per se, or lose interest in the person with whom they're having sex?
Well, that's a good point there, isn't it?
There's a difference, isn't there? Yeah, it's exactly, and I think that's quite true. You are listening, of course, to CRMK on a Saturday morning with me, Mike Barry.
With me, Bob Bluffield.
And me, Kev Slaymaker.
And me, Alan Mallyon.
And of course we are the
grumpy old man.
I nearly got lost then.
You did, yeah. You're reading, aren't you?
I'm trying.
You're reading today's newspaper.
Yeah, I want to try to.
We got to talk about this parking. Come on, there's been an awful lot. Now I've lost my emails. There's been an awful lot of controversy on a page today, this week. Sorry, a new called Next Door, I believe the website's called. Or it's like a Facebook type thing for local people. Next Door, it's called, and. It's all started with people that are complaining about the parking at Willen. They've got this brand new car park, haven't they, with number plate recognition. But it's not the fact that people are going to pay, I think, is the issue. It's the way the car parking company, Napier Parking, I'm going to name them, which is run by the de Savary family, is monitoring this and persecuting people, I would say. I think it's just on the verge of being legal. Apparently they can also charge people with blue badges. Now, I thought they were exempt in car parks.
No.
Are they not? You know
just because you've got a blue badge doesn't make you poor.
And that's true. But there's an awful lot of people that have got blue badges that are poor. But I don't think it's a very good advert for the Parks Trust, who hire this company or use this company to manage their car park. There's people have been saying the area is meant to be for relaxation, for local people that could go stroll down to Willen Lake or drive down to Willen Lake and park and have a good day out, and now it's dominated by this car park and the antics of the company that runs it.
There are 2 issues here. First of all, the Parks Trust. I think the Parks Trust have actually lost focus. They're supposed to be. They were given a major grant by government, a huge grant. It's not their money, it's our money. It was given to them. They were given resources that they could actually generate revenue from, and their responsibility was to create a parkland and an environment in Milton Keynes that was going to be a wonderful place for people to live. And they're making investments in shopping centres in Liverpool. I do not believe that is the right thing for them to be doing. If they're making investments, it really ought to be in Milton Keynes. They would argue that they're doing the best thing they possibly can with the money they've got available. I think they're just having fun at our expense, quite frankly.
I agree, absolutely agree with you.
Right, that's one point. The second point is the car parking company mentioned, and all car parking companies, and won't single out any individual, they are bordering on licensed extortion.
Yeah, but it's time it changed, isn't it?
Well, we managed to get it. I mean, I got in trouble for using exactly that term about the wheel clampers, and finally the government gave in and actually outlawed much of the activity of the wheel clampers. And I think the excessive activity of the car parking companies needs to be dealt with. It needs to be dealt with by government, and it needs to be dealt by English law, because they are flouting the law. They are absolutely extorting money out of people in every possible way they can, with scant regard for the law.
Gangsters.
They are absolute gangsters. It is legalised extortion.
I believe I'm right in saying that I think in Scotland they have brought in legislation to control their activities, but it hasn't spread typically to England. But they're always behind with this.
I believe Scotland has a really good attitude on many things, and particularly with regards to the law. I would be very happy to see some of the Scottish laws introduced into this country when it comes to house purchase and all sorts of other things.
Yeah, no gazumping. Yeah, absolutely right. But you've had experiences with this, Mike, haven't you? As indeed I have, and countless other people have. I mean, the case of my brother-in-law, who's 78, he parked, he paid to park. He was staying at the hotel up there at it's a Premier Inn, isn't it, at Willen? And as he closed his car door, the ticket fell off the dashboard. It's happened to me before, but mine happened, fortunately, with Milton Keynes parking, and I wrote in and I was let off because it was an accident. But we proved the fact that he had paid for parking in advance, but they just refused totally point blank to accept that. But not only would they refuse to accept it, they wouldn't allow it to go to arbitration, or it's appeal, wasn't it? Because they refused to give a reference number, so we could take it up to appeal. And that's got to be, criminal. But who runs the appeal tribunals? The parking companies. That's it.
It's a stitch-up.
Yeah, I think we've got to get Mark Lancaster to put something into
surely,
Parliament about this.
If you've got a parking ticket, even if it does disappear down the side when you close the car door, surely that has got to be ample evidence.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
No,
you've got to, it must do.
You're breaching their regulations.
The regulations are your ticket must be displayed. You're not.
It is. It's displayed down the side of the board.
But it's also but there's also regulations of where it should be displayed.
It's got to be visible from the exterior of the vehicle.
But the crafty, they used to have little sticky strips that they should put it on your windscreen, but they don't do that anymore, do they?
Well, no,
because it's easier for them to fall off, isn't it?
That costs probably a penny to put that on, and that would actually solve all the problems, wouldn't it?
You've been very quiet, Mike. Because you won your case eventually, didn't you?
Well, you see, I did.
Yeah, but wasn't it an effort?
I took them to court, well, I did. I mean, it cost me...
But that wasn't Napier, was it?
No, it was a different company, and I threatened them, and then they ignored my threats, as I was ignoring their threats, so I issued a summons through the county court. And they came back and they refunded me, and court costs and all the rest of it, So I think this is the thing, you have to just...
You've got to be persistent, haven't you?
Well, you have, providing you are right. Because, I'm sorry, but, the thing Alan said, the rules and regulations which are they're in black and white, and they're on
but this is the issue, isn't it?
Your ticket must be displayed.
But they're going to be visible. And they're going to be a certain size.
It doesn't matter whether they're visible or not. You buy a ticket and you expose that ticket for somebody to come round and have a look at that ticket and say, yes, you have paid to park in my car park.
Unless, of course, you paid by phone.
Well,
you don't display a ticket.
No, but they have. Well, they've got a phone. They just connect up to their system, and it tells you. They just go through.
Yeah, but it doesn't alter the fact they're sharks, and this is morally wrong.
They're all sharp practices, and they're designed to extract as much money from the motorists as possible. And but it's not just the companies that are guilty. I think the companies that employ them are just as guilty.
Quite right. In this case, the Parks Trust.
It's like if you employ a hitman, yes, the hitman is guilty of murder, but you're guilty for employing him.
That's quite right.
Just, but you know, again, the trouble is there are very few honest car park.
Well, it's hitmen.
Yeah, well, this is it. You know,
well, you've got the big companies like the NCP and the like, who do have a degree of moral responsibility. I think in terms of they don't do those sharp practices.
I think you're right. I think they operate quite.
I think the sharp practices.
Good.
I think that people don't mind paying for parking. People, you know, and if you don't pay where you're supposed to pay and you get a fine, that's okay. It's the sharp practices that people don't like.
Not a fine, a charge.
Oh, it's a charge, is it?
Yes, it's a charge. And this is the difference. But they make the documentation look as though it's a legal document, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
It's a summons.
They're criminals.
Well, they call it a PCN as well, which is exactly the same as the ticket that you get from the authorities, you know. But it's one is a penalty charge notice, and the other one is what is it? The PCN? Oh, I don't know. Can't think now, but anyway, it's the same.
But I think people have got to lobby and get stronger controls in favour of the public, in favour of the motorist, and take it away from these shark.
I think you know,
shark companies.
The trouble is, no politician's going to stick their neck out on this one, are they?
Well, I don't know. They did in Scotland, didn't they?
You know, you mentioned Mr. Lancaster, you know, an honourable gentleman, I think.
Challenge him to do it.
But he won't do anything. There's no votes in it. He's not going to do anything.
Do you not think?
Well, no. And you know, these organisations are run by Tories. Well, the Labour government are just as bad. You know, it's not. You know, it's not.
Did you see Vince on Question Time this week?
No, but I saw him being interviewed.
You know, he thinks he's going to be Prime Minister, doesn't he?
Yes,
chance of it. You know,
we're a party wait in the wings of power or something. You know.
Yeah,
absolutely. What a good man he is.
That's where they'll stay.
Yeah, they're living in cuckoo land. You know.
Yeah.
No, they don't. And did you? Oh, I mean, I've got it on my Facebook page actually. Joe Swinton's speech to conference this week.
Did you go to bed listening to it?
She is absolutely the person I would want for Prime Minister of this country.
She's only a child, isn't she?
She's not a child. She's a mother of a 3-year-old child.
Well, doesn't mean anything.
I mean, the biggest problem I think she's got in some respects is the fact that she lives in a Scottish island. You know, and I want her as Prime Minister for the United Kingdom.
Biggest problem she's got is she's a Liberal Democrat.
There is that, Mike. And I take all those punches on the cheek, but actually the Liberal Democrats are in the ascent.
I did, and
their popularity on every survey and every survey that's been done recently is showing them making major gains everywhere. So I'm quite delighted. I mean, it couldn't get much worse. I mean, you know, when you're down the bottom, actually, you know, even a little thing is going up, and it's going up very well, very nicely.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm not very enamoured with my lot at the moment. So
you will be. I mean,
every dog has its day, so there's a fair chance at some stage they are going to.
There's a song there, isn't there?
They were at the top many years ago, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yes, but that was. I mean, sadly, that was in the days when
Joe Grimond and
the Conservatives and the Labour Party were so different. It was unbelievable. You know, you could understand it. You know, because the Labour Party was for the Labour, you know, for the working man, and the Tories, or the Conservative Party was for the.
I thoroughly agree with you, Mike.
But there's no difference now.
But if you look at, I believe that's not the case. I think that there's a hard right-wing core at the centre of the Tory Party, and I would say the Corbynites are very, very extreme left-wing people, and I think the leader of the current Labour Party is an extreme left-wingist. So I think that old division has actually come back again. Although, you know, it's, you know, the party of the workers. I don't think it's the party of the workers. I think it's the party of the shirkers.
Exactly. Should say that.
Fair comment. Yeah.
07790 385 385.
Have we had any texts this morning, Mike?
07790 385 385 is the number that you can text us in on. What did you say?
Have we had any texts this morning?
No, of course not. We don't get any texts in the show. We'll do tomorrow morning, though, on the Hit and Miss show.
We talk sex.
Yeah, you'll get. I'll get more listeners tomorrow morning than we got today.
Anyway, gentlemen, can I just nip back for 1 second to the Ryanair EasyJet debate?
Yes, please.
I've been doing a little bit of research while we've been on air, And I can tell you that the cheapest flight I could get from a return flight for Barcelona was actually on Ryanair at £81. EasyJet at £96.
But you've got to add in the extras there, haven't you? Like going up the steps onto the plane, having the crew open the door. There's a charge for that.
Do you want your plane to actually have wheels? You've got to pay for it, sir.
You can pay for
£5 for the toilet.
Do you want to use? Yes,
charge for bags. Don't forget that.
Yeah. No, you can bring your own porter.
Charge for check-in.
Can you just do as well, please, Mr. Researcher, this morning, just a fare from Euston to the Royal Albert Hall?
Okay.